Hello, welcome back, and we're moving to a different topic, and this is how to create or creating sectional plates in COMOSYS. Now, I want to use these two columns just to show you the how to apply the sectional plates or how to create sectional plates in COMOSYS. So let me just pick these two so that we will use some beams or apply some beams. So the beam we'll create in between these in these two components is I'll show you how we can apply the plate. Now I'll copy that once I've selected that and pick on linear. So I want to copy this column somewhere here and I click copy. So the once I've done so, I'll close that and click on empty screen to deselect that. So I want to create a beam running from that spot all the way to this particular spot right here. And I want to copy this beam downward by a millimeter or a meter. So I'll always come to special move and pick on linear. So once I've clicked on linear, I'll have this dialog box under move by distance, and I'll change everything to zero on the XYZ coordinates. So I'll work with the Z axis and prefix my dimension with a negative sign because I'm moving in the opposite direction of Z axis. So I'll just go ahead and click move. So the moment I click move, I'll move my object to that distance. Now we want to create a plate here. So this is some sort of end plate, but we want to create it in sectionally. So sectional means we are copying it at a particular view, not in a 3D way. But on a 3D way, it's also possible because I will have to demonstrate that. But let's go with what the topic says, sectional view. So let's start with the sectional view first. Now, I'll first of all define my 2 points. I'll define 2 points here just to create my sectional view here. I'll come to view, then pick view by 2 points. So I want to define a point there, and then right click and hold and move your mouse and come to this far end because we need the midpoint of that column. So we've picked the 2 points. So the moment you pick the 2 points, you have a particular view, a view of this. So we can bring our coordinate system to this, and by just clicking on the V, so that will bring our working plane to that spot. So the plate we want to create is between this beam and the end of this particular beam. Remember, this will be trimmed off by welding it on the plate that we are going to create. I'll come to steel here. Then from the steel menu is where we'll get the sub menus where we'll find the sectional plate in here. So I'll click on that drop down arrow and pick on sectional plate. So the moment you select on that, you'll be asked to select a plate and select an object. We don't have any plate in place, so I'll just right click. So the moment that you right click, the cursor will change to a plus sign. Then follow this instruction. Select start point. My start point will be somewhere here. Then my second point will be somewhere here. So I'll right click. I'll click on the second point, but if I zoom close, you can see I have just right click once again to terminate that command. If I select this, this is the plate we've created. So once you've selected that plate, just right click and rotate so that you can be able to see it on a 3D view. So you can always go press Ctrl D and to shift to a draw mode that will be able to bring forth or bring a view that will be clear to you. You can see we have this in place. We have the plate in place, but the plate is way wider than the web of our beam and the column. So what do we do? What we are going to do is very simple. We want to shift the position of this plate away from the column to come to the surface of this to the surface of this column. So I'll go ahead and press Ctrl W. Upon selecting the plate first, Ctrl W, and that will shift it from inside our column to the surface of our column. So what we are going to do here once again, is either we change this the width or the width of this beam to match the width of our web. So remember, the size of this column of this beam is 300. So the width will be 300. You can see the height is 300 and that is 150. So what do? We'll change that to match exactly that. So this will be probably 150. Let's work with that. So if I double click here and come here, right here, and I'll be able to change that from here by just typing 300 or 150 here. Just give it 150 and I'll go ahead and click apply. So once I do so, I'll be able to also to change the thickness of this particular member. So where do we change the thickness here? The thickness we can come to, we'll come here and just close that, and we'll come all. There's a way we can close this, then just double click on it, and we can come straight here and just change that to maybe we want maybe 10 millimeter thickness, and click apply and give it an OK. Then from where we are now, we can always now bring this to this surface here by maybe coming to edit. So once we are in edit, we come to cut. Then we can fit this beam to this plate easily by coming to fit. We come to fit, we pick the part we want to fit, and we pick the surface we want to fit it to, so that we have that in place. So this symbol is just a symbol of a connection. So we can always disable that so that we have a clear view of this. So we need a slight overlap. We need to extend this plate upward and downward. We can select that plate and maybe pick on that handle right there. And maybe we want to take it up by some measurement here. We can always, if I mouse over this, you can see move. So if I click move here, I can move it up. I can move it up in the Z or in the Y axis by maybe 100. So if I click that, I'll be able to click move, and that has moved. That handle has moved up by 100. So I can do the same thing downward here by clicking on that handle. And if I come here, I can click move, but I want to move this time around. I want to move in the direction of a negative direction along the y-axis. So I'll have to prefix this dimension by 100. But because a hunch might be applied here, I need this to move slightly to 400 or 500. I can give it 500 right there. Then prefix that dimension by a negative sign. So I'll go ahead and click move. So if I click move, I'll have that in place. So you can see we have that. We've created a plate there using a sectional tool right there. So I'll right click and hold my mouse and turn that around like that. So you can always come to sectional view once again and create a hunch. So how do you go back to sectional view? Just click that 0 or click on that 0 and maybe change the view. Press Ctrl D till you get the draw mode of your choice. So we can always go back and create a plate somewhere here. So how do we do that? Once again, we come back to steel and we come to sectional plate here and pick on sectional plate. Or we can use points to guide us in creating the sectional plate. But prior to that, because it might be a little bit harder to get the points right, I'll come to points here and pick on the points. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back here. Let me just pick the point. And if I pick a point here, and maybe shift it up by some few millimeters, and how do we shift it up? We'll come to pick the point. Then just mouse over the edge of this particular member of these plates here and enter on your keyboard. So the moment you enter on the keyboard, we want to give an offset upward on the y direction by, I want to move it up by maybe 50 or 60 would be okay. A dy 60, and enter the keyboard, we have our plate right there. So if I again mouse here, mouse over here, or click here, click on that, or create a point right here, just mouse over that and enter, and I want to move in the direction of Y,